Let's start with, as we do, the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you. Recognitions. So first and foremost, we welcome Cedar to the table as our student rep. So thanks for being here, Cedar.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
We'll hear more from you in a sec. But we would like to acknowledge Jill DeVita, who is here with us. So I am going to make you stand up. I am so sorry, Jill. But Jill has been named our 25-26 Kathleen McGowan Teacher of the Year. It was incredible to have Jill speak at Convocation. So before I get into that, a little bit about Jill. She came to us just a couple of years ago, but with over 16 years experience in 2 other districts as a classroom teacher with incredible expertise in literacy. So as you know, a couple of board meetings ago, Jill came and presented on structured literacy and on the science of reading and how that's evolved to our K-3 curriculum. So when she's not here being recognized, she is in classrooms. She is rolling up her sleeves. She's literally on the floor with kids, engaging them in the best literacy practices. And so it's no surprise to any of us that she was named Kathleen McGowan Teacher of the Year. As is customary, our Teacher of the Year comes in, gives a convocation address, and Jill's was all about the stories and who is going to tell our story as educators. So she started with some reflection of some of her own teachers that were just incredible in her development as an educator, and then she skillfully brought 8 other students from the youngest to those who have graduated to share a little bit about Simsbury educators and how they are a part now of their individual stories. So there was many a wet cheek in the audience.
Dusty in there.
It was
Dusty.
incredible, but we're just so excited that Jill will be representing the Simsbury Public Schools across the state and hopefully the United States. So
thank you very much for the honor, and it's such a pleasure to be here, and it's really a team, so I'm so grateful to work with Sue and Neil and, the staff at SQL and all the language arts consultants, so thank you so much.
thank you. So
It wasn't at Convocation. If you get a chance, did we tape it?
No, I don't believe we did.
But I could share Jill's comments with her permission.
I mean, seriously, the students, again, the graduates to, I don't know how young the youngest was, but boy,
3rd grader.
those guys, everyone with the mic and full auditorium, I mean, they just crushed it. It was great.
Thank you.
It was really great stuff. And the message, obviously, was fantastic as well, so.
Absolutely. Great testament to you and to those teachers that they spoke about. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any more?
That's all for
Okay.
recognitions.
All right. Public audience. Seeing that we don't have any public audience, we'll move right on to the committee reports. Start. Let's see.
Well,
And welcome, by the way.
So far the school year's off to a pretty great start. Fall sports are just started. Things are going great. The first home football game is this Friday on the 12th. Open house for all grades is next Thursday on the 18th. Our first spirit rally is coming up next week on the 19th. And then the homecoming dance on the 20th of September, weather permitting, is going to be moved into the courtyard at the high school.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah, that's all I think I have.
Great. No, thank you. Appreciate it. Josh?
Nothing at this time.
Excellent. Brian?
I don't think we're reporting at this time, no. For personnel and negotiations, no, we're good. Thanks.
Lib?
Just briefly, it was kind of a crazy summer, a little bit of training for me, but I just thought I'd start off the year and tell you some quick 4 trends that are shaping up this school year. Enrollment, as you know, as budgets tighten. Federal policy is going to persist and persist. Tech relationship drive specialists, special ed improvements, and of course the AI spread in the footprint in the school. So those are just some of the big things that are coming off the table federally and through the state and down to local.
Those are some 4 big issues that are coming our
Sure.
way. Thanks. Jen?
I have nothing to report except that Terrafil is turning 100.
Yes, they are.
And so there's a bunch of events. I'm pretty sure there's a website. I get it through because I have a kid there. But I think there's a website. There's like a event, I think Friday the 26th at like Oldwell, and then something else going on. I think Saturday, the next Saturday afterwards, I think there's going to be birthday cake. So keep an eye out.
That'd be a big cake.
It's marked, it's above the front door with 1925.
Right?
It's got a big
This
sign.
is exciting.
This is exciting.
It's very exciting. I mean, this is great for the school and for
Yeah, when Central School turned 100, we celebrated for like 4 years.
Well, we can do that here.
Yeah.
I can get all of the events from Steve Matizik and share them in our
Yeah, would you? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Happy to do that.
That'll be good. Fun to-
I think we have the wrong nameplate here for Neil. I think it's supposed to be Elton John.
Yeah.
But,
You might see a picture later.
Oh,
Some of us are glad convocation. So, I am going to save it for our opening school report.
Great. Awesome. Jason?
Sure.
Katie? Okay. Just a couple things for me. Again, welcome back. I know when we last were together in June, we talked about meeting over the summer. I just kind of quickly wanted to say that, and we're going to gear that towards budget, financial kind of discussions. I can't tell you that we had a lot of conversations between us, the Board of Finance, or I should say myself, Matt, Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen. There have been a lot of conversations that have happened over the summer. It just didn't kind of coalesce together. It wasn't necessarily ripe for a meeting, but I just wanted to assure you that those conversations and discussions were happening. I should say with Amy as well, and we'll probably get into it very soon. But I just wanted to let everybody know that that's why we didn't meet over the summer. Just didn't quite get together. And then just really specifically, one thing I just want to mention to the senior parents: it's senior night, the virtual on Thursday. So if you have a senior in your family at the high school, as do I, you should tune in on Thursday. Great, thank you. First thing on the agenda is the approval of the June 10th meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Great, thank you. Approval of the August 26th special meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Personnel, Neil?
Yep, we've got a bit to work through here, but we always do on the first meeting of the year. So we'll begin with the ones where you need to take a vote, which is, we had 4 resignations over the course of the summer and early fall. Laura Colby has been with us for 3 years. She is returning to be with her family in South Carolina at the end of this month. Keith Berthume is the most adventurous among us. As many of you know, he has been a fabulous chemistry teacher, big positive element of school culture at Simsbury High School. And he is working in an American school in Copenhagen, and he moved to Denmark.
Oh, wow.
So, took a big adventure in life. So, congratulations to Keith. Carrie Laverty, a special ed teacher at Latimer, has been with us for 2 years. She's relocating to the Boston area. And of course, Jeff Pinney, as the board knows, after 14 years in Simsbury, 9 of those, I believe, as our athletic director, decided to exercise his academic side again and became the principal of Torrington Middle School. So congratulations to Jeff, and the motion is there for somebody to read.
Anybody?
Move that the Board of Education accept the resignations of Laura Colby, effective September 30, 2025, Keith Bethune, effective June 30, 2025, Carrie Laverde, effective July 31st, 2025, and Jeff Penny, effective August 19, 2025.
Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Oh, we're losing some top people
Yeah.
and years of experience.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you.
2 retirements for the board's vote. One, Melanie Meehan, who is our big part of our elementary curriculum center as a writing and social studies coordinator, has been in Simsbury for 17 years. She's actually been a part-time consultant, and she's going to retire from this position and continue to pursue some professional responsibilities that she's done over time. And then Julia Warren is a longtime grade 1 teacher at Squadron Line, has had some personal challenges recently that have made a work-life balance difficult, and is able to take her retirement, and she's doing so.
I'll move that the Board of Education accept the retirements of Melanie Meehan effective October 3rd, 2025, and Julia Warren effective August 4th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I would just say again, that's a lot of experience walking out the door. I just want to express our gratitude. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great.
Okay, and then the last ones that need your vote are these 2 notices. As you know, in the teacher's contract, there's an opportunity to let us know 3 years in advance of your retirement that you are going to do so, to allow for some planning on our part on the administrative and staffing side of things. So 2 of my favorites from Simsbury High School when I was the principal, our social worker Meredith Brockbank, who has currently finished 14 years, and math teacher Janice O'Donnell, who will round it out at 20 years by the time she retires. So the motion there is for their 2028 retirement.
Move that the Board of Education accept the notice of intent to retire Meredith Brockbank and Janice O'Donnell effective June 30th, 2028.
Second.
I will second. I didn't know if you said seconded. What did you say? I thought you said I seconded. I was like, wait, you're not allowed to, right? I second. Again.
Any discussion? Again, that's a lot of experience. Just appreciate that we have them for 3 more years. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And then for your information, no vote necessary, sorry. But this was the hiring season for the Simsbury Public Schools. In total, there are 26 educators represented here. I will also note that at your special meeting that you approved the minutes of, we hired Scott Redmond as our new assistant principal at Simsbury High School, and appointed Heather Golden to be the interim director of athletics and student activities. So 2 administrative moves as well as these 26, and we'll be talking more about them in the school opening report. But an excellent hiring season, and I will have more to say in just a few minutes.
Well, maybe I'll just save my question then.
Sure.
All right. Okay, acceptance of the gift from the Terriffill PTO.
That's over to me, so
Great.
in keeping with your Board of Education policy 2311, any gift that exceeds the amount of $1,500 needs your approval as the Board of Education. So tonight for your consideration is a $3,000 gift from the Terriffill PTO. These funds will be used to help defray the cost for grade 6 in their camp jewel trip. There is a motion
That's
there
awesome.
for your consideration.
Move that the proposed gift of $3,000 to Terriffill School by the Terriffill School Parent-Teacher Organization be approved.
Any discussion?
Super generous.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Thank you. School year opening report.
That's back to me.
Sweet.
So Neil, Jason, and myself will be facilitating this school opening report. We'll start off with me from the Office of Teaching and Learning. I'll share with you what our priorities are as related to the strategic plan this year. Just can't thank you enough for that great work in developing the new strategic plan that'll take us to the next 5 years. We're really excited to what the future holds for us here in Simsbury. So I'll highlight where our areas of focus are, and I'll also share with you some of our student performance data. How did things go for us on measures like the Smarter Balanced Assessment, on the Next Generation Science Standards, and on the SAT? And after some student performance, I'll also talk about convocation too. That's where I get to show you some fun pictures. I'll hand it over to Neil. He'll get into new teacher orientation, more of the operations side of things, give you a snapshot of the school opening enrollment, and finally to Jason, who will show all of his glitzy pictures around all the work that got done at all 7 of our schools to beautify things and make them even better than they already are.
Great.
All right?
Awesome.
So with that, convocation, you know how I love a theme. And I always have to plant the seed with Neil early, but this year's theme was what are we going to learn, what are we going to launch, and what are we going to lead in our new strategic plan. So we took that and we went with it. I forgot the cutouts. I have the cutouts right around if you want to take pictures, but here are some of our teachers. Neil always gets in line, and we had some walk-up music for him, Elton John's Rocket Man, so you can see him over there on the right, enjoying that. Got a lot of laughs. Those center pictures, we asked all teachers to think about what they want to learn, what they want to launch, or what do they want to lead in their classrooms or throughout the district. And they put that down on a star and gave it to their principal and got a swag bag in collaboration with Cigna as our insurance partner. So everyone got a hat and some other great things to show their pride in the Simsbury Public Schools. And finally want to thank science leaders Jim Compton and Heather Golden, because they put together and then launched 2 rockets as we launched into the year. So I was pretty excited about the theme. And what I'm more excited about is the work, the excitement, the passion that our teachers are showing, and how we will just bring Simsbury to the next level. So that gives you an idea around convocation. Relative to our strategic plan and the new strategic plan, as a board you decided to keep the 4 main goals the same. So they are around student performance and success, a caring and compassionate school climate, and a premier workforce. What changes are the actions and the work that we want to prioritize and accomplish this year. So as a reminder, under student performance, there's been some more significant curricular changes specifically at the elementary. So we've adopted Benchmark Advance as our curriculum for reading. So that is launching this year. And we're entering into the 2nd year of our Think Math, which is our K through 5 math curriculum. So doing a lot of additional support. Just because it's the 2nd year doesn't mean that we titrate from that support or the coaching. And I'm really excited to show you in just a moment some of our results from those curricular shifts. And then, as you know, we have reinstituted a curriculum review, and we take on a couple of departments each year, but the one major department is our English Language Arts department. So I'll be working very closely with Betsy Gonzalez at the elementary level, as well as Emily Drago, who is serving as our department supervisor for English Language Arts 7 through 12. And we'll be sharing with the curriculum committee developments around that review. Around our caring and compassionate school culture, we're in year 2 of Encouraging Words. That was a really fruitful campaign around how do we speak with and about each other, and we want to continue that good work in year 2. We're also looking at our tiered interventions and supports. There was some significant work done at the secondary level, defining what does intervention look like, how do we tie the intervention work to the priority standards in each content area. So again, we'll be providing some updates there. With a Premier Workforce, we are in year 2 again of a new educator evaluation plan. So teachers are formulating goals for which they are most passionate. Those stars that I had teachers fill out at convocation, that is really great framework and groundwork for what teachers want to talk about more in their professional growth plans. So excited about that work and how we prioritize our professional development opportunities that we have, whether those be in our grade level professional learning communities or when we have a full district professional learning day. One of the things that I'm most excited about is that we've decided that we need to get smarter and better as leaders around work, around intervention. Because if we were getting it all right, we would be closing even more gaps. We're doing a great job. I think we can do an even better job. So my teaching and learning team, along with Neil and Matt, we interviewed a couple of different people that are experts in this field. And we've landed with a woman named Katie Novak. I can send you more information on Katie, but she is a nationally and internationally known expert on these topics. So she's going to be working with our administrative council throughout the course of the year to build our understanding and our skill in thinking about how do we take this to scale with our staffs in the coming year. So that's where we're focusing from the strategic plan. Certainly there will be more board updates and reports, whether that be through curriculum committee or here with the full board. But we're really excited about that work. So as far as our student learning data, we know that we have different public markers here across the state. We have standardized assessments that are given in grades 3 through 8, as well as grade 11. So just as a reminder, it's Smarter Balanced Assessment. They dropped the C in consortium, so it's SBA, in grades 3 through 8, and that assesses both literacy and math. We also assess around the next generation science standards, and there are specific assessments given in grades 5, 8, and 11, and I'll share those results with you. And the good old Scholastic Aptitude Test, the SAT, that's given in grade 11. So I will share with you our student results. We are excited to do so and to share the growth over the course of this past year. So it's become more customary for us to give you some roll-up data in both ELA and in math. So what I've shared with you, those percentages represent the percentage of students meeting or exceeding what our goals are around student learning. And then I've also provided you a number that gives us our DERG ranking. So again, it's a roll-up, first of grades 3 through 6, and then grades 7 through 8. If members are interested in knowing how a specific grade level did, I can also share that information with you either now or in the future. But here's where we are. Our ranks are climbing in the elementary. Out of all of the 19 districts in ELA, with that combined roll-up, we are at number 2 and number 4 in math. We keep climbing. We've seen percentage growth in both of those areas that we're really proud of. There's a direct correlation. It's now 2 years in a row with the Think Math. Those classrooms that were in pilot the year before, we are now in full implementation. One thing to note specifically in elementary, our grade 6 ELA is number 1 in our DERG. And we did so very, very well there. So we continue to see increases in both ELA, in both math at our elementary. To transition to middle school, what I want to point out here, our math in 7th grade is the highest percent. 72% of our students were at or exceeding goal. It's the highest it's been since the inception of ESPA for grade 7. So we're really excited about that. We would still like to see those rankings, specifically in math, up a bit higher. Our performance is better right now in 7th than it is in 8th, but it's better than we were last year. We saw growth, we saw movement, and certainly more work to come. We will continue the great instructional work that we're doing, the curricular work that we're doing, so we align guaranteed curriculum with strong instruction to get even better results of student learning for all kids. And that's ESPA. We ask questions at the end. Maybe you can see all the data set that would make sense. So for science, again, we assess in grades 5, 8, and 11. We have a continued focus in strengthening grade 5, but we saw definite increases in that grade 5 by almost 4%. So we're really excited about that. And in our DIRG rank. 8th grade dropped a bit. We're still performing at a high level, but we have a little bit of introspective work to do to see what happened there. That is typically not where we perform in science in 8th. So we are working with both leaders at both the middle school and certainly Heather Golden as the former department supervisor. She's now in the interim role as AD. We're still picking her brain, taking a look there. But the high school continues to perform well, 3rd in our DIRG, but we really want to be looking at what is the alignment with the middle school curriculum to the high school curriculum, and is there something that we're missing there, or is this just a blip on the screen there? And then finally, the SAT. What I wanted to share with you is the story of this class is the growth of this class. It's better than other classes, yet when you look at those percents, specifically in math, you might go, okay, that's certainly not where we want to be. I would agree with that. But what I want to point out in both ELA and math is that there is almost and exceeding a 10% growth of where the same group of students performed on their PSAT. So overall, certainly we want to do better, but the growth that that particular cohort has made, we were extremely excited about.
And this is this year's seniors, right?
This is this year's seniors. The data is based upon this year's senior class. Okay, so that's where we kind of landed in our data. Questions?
The couple slides back, this slide is where the grades 3 through 6.
Mhm.
Right? So grades
ESPA.
it's like, it's hard to, I love the numbers, but it's really hard when you don't have the actual numbers of what it was last year. Like, do we know what it is?
We do.
Where it came from?
Yes, we do. So if we look at the roll up from last year in ELA, we were at 77.8%. So it's an increase of 2.2%. Our DIRG ranking stayed the same. Okay, so that means everybody probably bumped up a little bit. And again, I have the specific DIRG rankings by grade level, if that would be helpful to share with you at another time. And then in math, we came up 1.4%.
And where were we on the ranking?
We were at 3 and we went down to 4.
Okay, in the younger grades.
Yep, in the younger grades. In middle school, last year we were at 73.4% for ELA for that roll up, so we're up 2% overall. And for math, we were at 59.8%, so we're up 6.7%.
Do you know what that ranking was last year?
Yes, last year was 15, so we're up 3 in both ELA and math in our rankings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
On the same slide, so I think you said the 7th graders were ranked first.
Mm-hmm.
So that means there was an issue with that 8th grade, this year's freshmen.
Yes, they weren't ranked first. The 7th graders had the highest performance of any 7th grade since ESPA, okay? And yes, we saw lower performance in that current 8th grade cohort. That's correct.
So is that, were you just monitoring it, or I mean, because obviously this year's freshmen, so what are we
doing about it?
Apparently, yeah.
There's two things, right? We have to look at that cohort just as we were focusing on the SAT cohort and we saw that growth. There are very specific instructional moves that we made there to see that growth. We're doing the same thing here and we're digging in. Who are those kids who were at the cusp of hitting that mark, who were far below, and then instructionally and intervention wise, how do we continue that growth for them? Brian.
Sue, I have a question on the SAT slide. Math.
Yes.
55.7 at or above. What would be considered like at or above? Like, is that like a tangible number, or is it a?
It is a tangible number. It's scoring 510 on the math section of the SAT. That's a bit of a higher threshold than it is for ELA, which is 480.
So I thought. I remember that being the case. I thought so.
Unlike the way you think about college applications and taking the SAT multiple times and I use my best score, this is just that one Wednesday in March.
That's one
And
snapshot.
they take the test.
This was last year's juniors.
This year's seniors. So just to give you a sense of the highest score in the DERG, they're at 63.8%. The highest performance
either-
in our DERG.
Either they need to lower the math number or because when you're coming in sixth place essentially and just over half your people are scoring a 510 or above, that means it's tough to get a 5. Like they need to ease up on that test.
So back to the middle school, right? Just you mentioned that cohort, right? And just the numbers going up for 7. Is there anything? Right, that's something we talked a lot about last year too. And obviously the numbers moved up. Is there anything you point to like? It's a pretty notable difference, that group going out and that group coming in. Like, is there anything you'd point to say like this is what's making the difference? Because I think when we look, you're not used to seeing Simsbury like in 12th or whatever we were, 15th, right?
15 last year.
Yeah, I mean that's so. And then and we always say it's the same kids, right? So it's 2nd, 4th, you look at the high school. So is there anything you point to say like this is what's maybe moving the needle?
I think focus and attention on a guaranteed curriculum, on common assessments that we're all using, looking at and saying where are students performing and where are they not yet, and how do we go back and use this information to teach differently. Because if we're saying certain skills are paramount, then we have to have assurance that we are going back, circling back, trying again. There's also some they did a lot of spiral review with students in both the 7th grade last year and the 8th grade last year. So how do we come back to some of those skills and keep practicing? How do we continue to make those connections? We also started using a different data platform, something called IXL, as you may know as a parent. I am not going to say that is the cause. I think it's more correlational right now. Yet, we've learned a lot from our use last year, and we are adjusting some of those practices. So more to come, and certainly more that I can update you on as we continue to focus on that area.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Sue, going back to the SAT slide over here. Now you said something that this year's senior, this was the best results that we've had in a while.
No, what I shared was that this year's seniors made considerable growth as a cohort when compared to other cohorts. That 10% growth from PSAT is pretty significant. We're really proud of those kiddos. They worked hard. Our teachers worked hard. And I think we've seen some nice growth results because of it.
And especially coming out of COVID just a few years ago. How many years have we been out? But it's 5. But still, these kids, it's really remarkable where a lot of districts haven't caught up, in any way, shape, or form. And here we are already exceeding that. So that's quite something.
Great.
Okay, on to Neil.
So we're going to focus a little bit on the staffing and on just a snapshot of enrollment before I turn it over to Jason Casey. This picture represents almost all of our new hires. That is a tremendous amount of work through my office, but I also want to acknowledge how much work the principals and assistant principals and department supervisors put in to hiring in that many positions before they get onboarded in my office with Cindy Freelinger and I. So we had we start that process. Once your budget passes, we know it still needs to go through referendum, but by March, we sort of know where the Board of Ed budget landed. And that's where we start advertising positions. And when we come back from April vacation, that's basically the brunt of recruiting season. So we hired some of these teachers as early as April, and we hired them as late as August. So, we had some difficult areas to hire in this year, and a couple of family and consumer science positions, technology, education, which can be tricky. And we brought on several new staff members for our New Path program that will eventually open at Two Farms Village. So some unique hires, and I feel like we did a really good job bringing them in. And again, that in terms of screening paperwork, interviews, demo lessons, I mean, each one of those hires represents hours and hours of work by folks out in the field. So once we get them here, we do a 3-day orientation. Day one is the Sue and Neil show for the most part, and then it goes from there. And we do a welcome. Really happy that one of the things we get great feedback on is we bring 3 of the teachers who were in their chairs last year and speak to them about the kind of support they got in Simsbury, what was most helpful, what was most challenging, and they just ask questions of these folks who we invite back. They have a number of presentations around our vision of a graduate, around some of our equity work. Katie Crisula gets them for 2 hours and does sort of a special ed in Simsbury 101. And Dave Prinstein does technology work with them. And we really, Sue is the one who gives us a survey at the end. We get tremendous feedback, and we get feedback of how the best ones are. We've had orientation in other places, and this is amazing. You know, they really praise the program. I think we've gotten it just right for where we are right now. Those who are brand new to the profession do one morning of it in team training, which is the 2-year program to basically, as a novice teacher, be trained in 4 modules of learning environment, instruction, assessment, planning, and then there's like an ethics and responsibilities module. And they complete those under the tutelage of our retired teacher, Jan Sands, and their mentor teachers that they are assigned. The famous cultural tour of Simsbury that is the get to all 7 schools in an hour and 15 minutes. And then this year it ended at the Flower Bridge where we had an ice cream truck parked for them. So that was their cultural tour. We pointed out a few other spots. But, and then we ended after 3 days with a roundtable session where anything that they need to be able to talk about before they head out to see their kids the week. This happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before convocation. So that's that. I'm going to give you a little bit of just some roll-up data about their experience. We were fortunate that just over half of these we were able to hire in that starting point of their career from either 0 to 5 years of experience. That is infusing new talent into our school system. It also gets me on Amy's good side because it helps the budget. And we exceeded what my marching orders were from Amy in terms of, it's a statistic we called realized savings, and we realized more savings through these hires than was the goal. But in some areas, we did bring in experienced people, and those are some of those harder to hire areas, quite frankly, we found that we went with more experienced people. In terms of, this is another, yeah, go ahead.
Just say that number, I was gonna say, I like seeing that, so kudos to, it's a nice spread. We had talked about this in the past, right?
Yes.
About like feedback stuff you hear from people, right? You don't want, like if that 0 to 5 was 100%,
Yeah.
Amy may be very happy, but like there'd be a question of like is that too much youth at one time?
Yeah.
So a lot of credit to you to kind of have a nice, spread of
Right.
that, so. it
Well,
looks
and
really
I always, that was a mantra when I was the principal at the high school, that I said a healthy school faculty should have people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Like, you should have it all in your school, and, we strive to do that, so.
nice job.
In terms of their academic preparation, this is now, I would say, a trend. More are entering the profession with their master's degree already. They get it before they even start teaching. And certainly at our Connecticut schools, that's a real trend. So if you go to Central Connecticut or UConn, almost every resume I get from those kids is like they already have their master's degree, which helps them in terms they still are a relatively economic hire, but the master's degree on the teacher's schedule is worth about 5,000 more salary dollars for them. So it makes a difference, and including some with the 6th-year column. So those are our new teachers. I just wanted to give you a snapshot of enrollment before the big show in October 10th.
I can't wait for that. It's my favorite.
I kind of get
I hope
sad
I'm not
because you
sick.
never react to any of my stuff.
I'm sorry.
Neil's enrollment, but I won't take it personally.
Sorry.
It's all right.
So
English
you
spreadsheets.
you can see that we are down a little bit in enrollment. We're back below 4,000. If you look in the bottom right-hand column, the district total K through 12 is 3,980. On the October report, I'll also report out preschool, but this was as of that first Friday of the school year. One thing that you'll remember from budgeting, so K-6 is down 40 students, and you will remember that we were budgeted to save 2 teachers, that we were going to go down 2 teachers. Even though we're down 40 students, we couldn't go down 2 teachers the way that the cohorts, so we still have exactly 110 elementary school teachers, classroom teachers. We did realize some staffing savings at Simsbury High School through just fewer kids it was really more last year. We were still able to do some savings there. So if you flip forward one more, you can see it's a decrease of 81 students from last year's October enrollment, and it was about 60 students below the projections, which were saying that we were going to come in at 4,040. They got the kindergarten more or less right after I asked them to adjust it last year, so they were better on that. And some of this is, quite frankly, I just think fewer people with young families are moving into town. I think the real estate market is hard for people in their 30s, like it's hard to buy a house here. And we'll see where that goes, but much more to come on October 1st.
There's also a trend, and I'm seeing this in high school, a lot of kids are reclassifying and going to private schools for
Yes.
sports, and which is a whole nother conversation, but
We saw a
that
little
is-
bit of that at the high school this year.
there's an uptick in that from what I've seen. Weird.
There's still three kids difference from last year.
Neil,
Right.
I think that's an interesting observation on the housing market. I'd be curious too, I know you keep track of those numbers. We hear a lot about the development and the
Yeah.
development. So it feels like there's been enough development now, probably in the most recent years, to see like, is there something there that this development's not turning out students the way people may think it is, right? And like then, you
Yeah.
talk about, there's whole other conversations. there's some other conversations. If there's this development that's not turning out families, that's not turning out students, then what exactly is happening there, right? I'd be curious on that.
Yeah,
because
and I'll have all of that for our October meeting in terms of where the
Don't
developments.
miss it, Josh.
I see why Jen loves it. But yeah, that'll be interesting.
That's when we get to hammer Malone and McBroom or whatever that people.
Yeah.
There's no way that's right.
They missed the boat on that one.
I'm in conversation with the town planner, George, about this one that's going up on Iron Horse.
Yeah.
It's gonna be called Luminary. It does not have as many 2 bedrooms as you would think. So there's gonna be like 180 units, but only like about half of them are gonna be 2 bedroom units. So I don't think very many kids are gonna come out of that.
We and you may want to save this for October, but it's a significant projection. 60 that's significant. Like, what are we doing to talk
NASDAQ
to
would
them?
say compared to 4,000, it's nothing.
It's
You know, they're gonna claim a 98.5% success rate, because 1% would be 40 kids. So, they've been that far off 2 years in a row though, so they would have been further off if I didn't ask them to.
I'm sure. No, that's why I know. I think we talk about this almost every year.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of bringing it back up.
It'll be
Well, we should, if we want to use a different vendor, that's something we should talk about at budget time. Cause I have to budget ahead to keep using NASDAQ.
How long have we used them?
We went back to them after Malone and McBroom went out of the
Right.
projection business. But the guy who worked at Malone and McBroom, who we liked, Patrick, came and presented, he's now back working for a different company.
I
So,
seem to remember there being a Neil Sullivan system to this.
well,
It was more accurate.
we'll talk about that with my severance package.
And with that, let's transition now.
Guys, just a quick. I was going to say, just a quick. I know there's always last minute changes. Do you consider us fully staffed now?
We are waiting for some people that we have hired
Okay.
to start, like Mr. Redmond starts
Yeah.
next Monday. And another special ed teacher starting next Monday. The only place we are not staffed is where the math teacher just resigned.
Sure.
Right.
So, but Mr. Baker had an interview today that he texted me and said it went well. So,
Good. Awesome. Thank you.
I don't wanna deviate, but I'm just curious before I forget this, cause you know I'm gonna forget this in 10 minutes. What were you saying before that you see the uptick in the numbers?
Just
of
from
students?
potentially kids like their sophomore, junior year going to a prep school for a sport.
And,
so you finish 10th grade.
right,
You're a good, pick a sport, basketball player, and you go repeat 10th grade
right,
at a private school,
prep
so
school.
now you still have 3 years of high school.
Correct.
It's nothing new. I mean,
No, it's nothing new, and
Bingo.
we're in the mecca.
Yeah.
We're in the mecca of
It's
private
been
schools,
happening.
obviously. So.
Yeah.
so it's not a,
I'd be curious for October if we could put a little asterisk. That decrease is big at Henry James,
Yeah.
which you didn't touch on. So I can't wait.
Okay.
Super stoked.
Super stoked.
Have you sent 3 questions to
Yes.
Neil?
All right.
Cited by asterisks.
There you go. All right, over to Jason.
Now I feel bad that I don't have data. I don't have any roll-up numbers.
Did you have pictures?
Come on,
You have pictures.
That's
Oh,
So, yes, Latimer Lane, at long last. The Public Building Committee accepted the substantial completion of this project last night at the previous night. This time last year, an entire hallway was closed off, and now it's a real school. Everything's ready to go. And I was talking to the principal, and he's quite excited about it. Next one, Central Elementary. If anyone hasn't driven by here lately, I encourage you to do so. We replaced the sidewalk as well as the stairs. I think I have a second picture of it there. There you go. We also widened the bus lane. There was an issue at this school where if buses were coming and going at the same time, there was a little bit of a jockeying to get them around each other. But we shaved off some of the island, and now buses can get through there. This was part of our new paving plan to do an every other year capital project like this to get on top of these kinds of things. We're always adding Chromebooks every year. This year the number is 840. They're all in and running. Next up. One of the big technology things this summer was to move to Windows 11. This October, Microsoft is ending support for Windows 10, so we've done the majority of our desktops now, and we're currently picking away at things like administrator laptops and some computer labs, but the vast majority of our desktops are now Windows 11. Security upgrades. We've added 15 more security cameras to our school buses. We had 5, so now we have 20 of our buses out of the fleet of 29. If a principal does have an issue for one of those remaining, say, 9 buses, it's easy enough to change the number on the bus and move a bus with a camera into whatever route needs it. So we're in good shape there, and the plan is as we replace our diesel buses with propane, part of that process will be to add this camera package into it. And then additionally on the security side, we're spending roughly, I'd say about $200,000 on camera upgrades. One of the first technology projects that I was involved in when I started here was going from 0 to where we are now with security cameras. We had none. So as with me, they've all gotten a lot older, and it's time. So we're doing this major refresh to get them going. One other security piece that's in the works, Dave Prinstein has taken the lead on doing some training with staff on email security. We are seeing a lot of, as everyone is seeing, a lot of spam and malicious email coming through, so making sure everybody recognizes it when they see it and not click on the links is a big deal. Next slide. And maintenance. We made some spaces really beautiful this summer. The amphitheater at the high school got a complete overhaul. New seating, new furniture, new flooring, new painting, it's just an amazing space. This particular space took a pretty big hit when during the COVID years, we had people using that as a place to eat their lunches on a carpeted space, so not a good combination.
That's not the big one right when you walk in on the right, is it?
No, this
No,
is
this
up
is one
on
in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the back.
The big one in the front, we did stage lighting. So in the auditorium, it's been on my radar to get these incandescent stage lights out of there. More cost efficient, less chance of things bursting into flames. So now we have LED based.
Which is always good.
It's always a good thing. LED lights for the stage, so that's in place. We did a partial roof replacement over at Tooten Hills, and that's substantially complete as well, with some wrap-up work towards the end of September. We'll have that completely done. We got a lot of bathroom renovations done, which were in, I would say, dire need, especially the boys' room at Terrafil. If anyone's familiar with what that used to look like, it doesn't look like that anymore. So there's some shots of our renovated bathrooms. We did a few at Squadron. We did Henry James as well. Next slide. We did roughly 20 locations of floors and painting projects. That's central on the right there with some new flooring at the main hallway, and then also central on the left with one of their classrooms. But district-wide, we did a bunch of those to spruce up the place. And that is my presentation.
That's great. Wow.
Any questions before I just want to commend you. That looks great, and I just, this board spends a lot of time talking about capital and having conversations with our friends at other boards about the capital, and I just want to remind everybody that this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about remodeling bathrooms, roofs. I mean, we're not talking about bells and whistles. We are talking about things that provide the physical plant to have the best possible learning environment for our kids. And that's what we're talking about. I just wanted to take a second to remind us what we're all talking about when we talk about these projects. So thank you, I greatly appreciate it.
So that wraps up school opening.
I'll just add two more things. We just found out this week that the state set aside money for capital non-recurring type projects. So every town's gonna get a little grant around that. It looks like ours is in the neighborhood of $170,000 for next year. And Jason's stewardship of these projects is incredible. The man in the field making a lot of this happen is our supervisor of maintenance, Kyle Loveland. And his ability to get projects done it's a great partnership. It's astounding. We're so much better at this in the 3 years that Kyle has been with us. And I just want to recognize that.
Awesome, thank you.
Great point. So overall, terrific school opening. It's great to hear kids and teachers back in classrooms and see them out on the fields and in the hallways and the auditorium. And we're looking forward to a tremendous year. The second report is going to be about NEASC, the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. So I'm going to invite up to the table Principal Maggie Seidel, Assistant Principal Georgia Robert, and Spanish teacher Amanda Kazaradsky. Amanda and Georgia will be NEASC co-chairs. So what we wanted to do this evening is just provide an overview relative to the NEASC process. They've made some changes to the process and the standards. So for those of us who were around at the last decennial visit, there's an extra helpful, thoughtful step called the Collaborative Conference that will be happening about this time next year. So Maggie, Georgia, and Amanda will be talking about some of those changes. They'll be talking about the work of the high school this year to engage in a self-study and what that means, and to have you put some dates on the calendar a year in advance. Because again, our collaborative conference will happen in October of 2026. So just to kick us off, NEASC stands for the New England Association of Schools and Colleges. It's the oldest regional accreditor in the US, and it accredits over 1,600 different schools, public schools, independent schools, even international institutions. So we have some overview slides. I do want to give them credit because I'm like, these are really good graphics. I'm just going to steal them. So some of these slides are directly from them. But this process is a peer review process, and it's an opportunity for us to do a deep look at our practices. We'll discuss those a little bit more. It really is a process that emphasizes growth. It engages. This is not an I gotcha process. This isn't you pass or you don't pass. This is about, these are standards that we believe in as an accreditation body. We want to engage with you as partners. We want to help you either validate your areas where you want to get better and smarter about the work that we do for kids, but it's authentic, it's real, it's valuable. And all four of us have gone on visits. We've been a peer reviewer in other schools in Connecticut, in Rhode Island, and in Massachusetts. And it's just something that we believe in. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Maggie, and then we'll all take a little part in shaping out this update for you tonight.
Great, thank you, Sue. I wanted to start by saying thank you to both Georgia and Amanda. As being the newest to high school, one of the first things that Georgia actually looked at me and said is, hey, get on that list and go out and be part of this process. And it was the best advice, being part of it and really seeing this whole cycle, this 10-year cycle to be part of what we're kicking off this year as a leader has been so insightful and so helpful. So we're at the self-reflection part. So we're at the beginning of this 10-year cycle. And we are participating in an opportunity to really look through the lens of these 5 standards through all of our stakeholders. So we actually started this today. Our staff took the survey to get their input on how they view many of the different standards in different ways. So we're at this very beginning part where we're taking stock of all of the things that we have, the things that we think we could improve on, and really looking at it through the lens of these different standards. So there's 5 of them. Next year, what will happen is we will invite different educators in for that collaborative conference in October of next year, where they will be looking at the evidence that we've gathered and taking a look at the areas that we think we're doing well on, areas that we think that we need to improve on, and giving us some feedback on that. After that, we get to put that plan into place. So we'll have the opportunity to really set up some action plans and some ways to really do the development and growth of those priority areas. And then we'll come back around and we will get that decennial visit where they'll give us some feedback. They'll then give it to us in 1-year and 3-year increments. So we get to say, hey, here's how we're doing in the action plan. These are the things that we've put in place. These are our next steps. And they give us that critical feedback along the way. And then we'll start a new cycle again. So I'm really excited about the opportunity to take stock. We've also teed up a lot of things knowing that this was coming, having participated. And our priority areas really just meet us where we're at in terms of the self-reflection that we're participating in this year. So what does it look like? We are in the process of gathering evidence and information. Our department supervisors are really the steering committee. They are helping us to gather the evidence in the 5 different standards. There's some priority standards in different areas, and they're setting those up and working with us to help us to really look deeply at what we have in place across those 5 different areas. So this will include, as we say up there, the survey. So teachers just had the opportunity to take the survey. We have the students coming up, and they're going to be surveyed coming up on October 7th. And then we're going to be launching the family survey coming up. So I will actually have a video coming out and be sharing that along with some information around open house. So we are excited to take the input from each of those different stakeholders, as well as looking at what we've got in place as it relates to intervention, our curriculum, how the physical plant is. Do things really, are they in place to allow students to get what they need in terms of their day? So it really looks across many different facets of the educational experience for our students. We're going to rate those principles and those standards, saying, hey, this one is really in place, this one is developing, or this one really needs improvement. And some of them are, things that we have really well, situated. The vision of the do you have a vision of the graduate that you have in place that all stakeholders are aware of? We obviously have that. That's a really strong one. So we'll take a look at each of these, and then we'll draft a report, a narrative that goes along with our rating. We'll get that back to our teachers to say, hey, this is what we've collected. Are you in agreement with this? And that's where they will have the opportunity to vote and give us feedback. And then we'll be ready for our visit when we come together as a collaborative conference next October. We'll share with the committee. They'll have the opportunity to go out and take a look at classrooms. They're going to look at what's on our walls. How does the physical plant look? They'll go on a tour. We'll have student representatives walking them around, and they'll be able to really immerse themselves in the data that we've collected, but also our day-to-day as best as you can over a 2-day period. So again, having participated in that, it was really, really awesome. You get that all the information to study before, then you get to see it in action, and then you get to really work with the team to develop those priority areas.
Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the 5 standards. As you can see, student learning is at the center. And the vision of the graduate really runs through all 5 of the standards. So they're really looking for that vision of the graduate to drive each aspect. So In addition to taking a deep dive into student learning, they're going to look at resources. So that's where we get into the capital planning, all of the funding and things that we need in our building. Learning support. So we've talked tonight about interventions. That falls under there. Professional practices. How do our teachers collaborate? What does professional development look like? And taking a look at our learning culture. What does it look and feel like in each of the classrooms? This slide here gives you a little bit of a flavor for the overall of the standard. So when they're looking at learning culture, they want, first and foremost, physical safety of our buildings, that we're setting high standards for student learning, and that we all own that vision of the graduate, that we're all speaking that same language and fostering those transferable skills, those skills that regardless of discipline are going to carry students through to career and college, etc. So student learning, they want to see those defined curricular experiences. You heard common assessments earlier, that curriculum, the written curriculum, matching the taught curriculum, common assessment, so different teachers, same course, same assessment, looking at the data, things along those lines. Looking for the ways in which we're seeing our students attain the vision of the graduate. So what does that look like? How do we know that they are attaining that vision? Professional practices, we always have a wonderfully thought out school improvement plan. So they're going to want to take a look at that. They're going to want to look at our, like I said, PD practices, our professional learning communities, PLCs, I'm sure you've heard about those. All the ways that our teachers collaborate, vertical teams, the way that we articulate with the middle school. And all of our community relationships, which we have many of those, and how we interact with the community and how they support us. And then those interventions under learning support, all of the ways in which we meet students where they are and help to close gaps and move them forward. And learning resources, time, funding, facilities, our infrastructure. This is where we get into that state of our building. And they really do, walk around and check out, we show them the boiler and all of that good stuff. So it's fun. Fun stuff. So in those 5 buckets, there are foundational elements. So these are sort of the most important. If we're struggling on one of these, they're likely going to tell us that's got to be your focus area. You're not quite there yet, and that's got to be one of them. So safety, emotional, physical, that written document describing, now this we have our vision of the graduate, we have our preparation, passion, and personal growth. So we have all of that down really solid, 1.2a. That there's a written curriculum in a consistent format for all of our courses and departments across the school. As you all know, we offer so many robust electives. So that's an exciting piece we're working on. And then professional practices, we always have our school improvement plan, and we have a CTE board. So any school that offers CTE programming, they must have a CTE advisory board, which we have had for years. I went last year. It's a wonderful group that really represents all those community partnerships that we're fostering. It's phenomenal. Learning support. We have intervention strategies that are designed to support learners. Again, we have a lot of great things going on in this area, but it'll be great to get feedback. And learning resources. Our plant, our programming, our services, our curriculum, and again, that physical safety. So I am collecting all of those great evidence gathering, like our safety plan and all the wonderful work that we have. That's the phase of that evidence gathering we were talking about earlier.
So when the collaborative team comes in, right, they're looking at different elements in each one of these standards, but they're saying, all right, no matter what you prioritize, if we don't see evidence of these foundational elements, you've got to make it a priority. Again, this is not an I got you. This is a confirmation of what we want to prioritize. For example, when I went in for a visit, they had some incredible things going on, but they didn't have a school improvement plan or process. And NEASC is going, if you're not looking at your student data and your culture data and taking actions to get better, like that's foundational for any high-performing high school. That's what we mean by these foundational elements.
Alright, so I'm going to explain just briefly what this collaborative conference will look like. Again, it's not until 2026, so we do have a year to prepare. But usually about a week before the collaborative conference begins, the visiting team is going to meet with our NEASC liaison, and that is Fran Kennedy. So he'll have a Google Meet or a Zoom meeting with them and give them the download of really what they can expect, how the process is going to work. That way when they get to Simsbury on Wednesday, October 6th, they can really hit the ground running and get started. The first day that they do arrive, they come as soon as the school opens, and we start with a school tour, which, as Maggie said, will be led by student representatives, and they get to see all the nooks and crannies of the high school. They'll then get to meet our steering committee, which is our department supervisor team. And then they'll get to observe a whole bunch of different classes, which is super exciting. And then at the very end of that day, they will have meetings with all of our stakeholder groups. That includes a group of students, a group of parents, and then you guys as well. So definitely want to add that to your calendars. October 6th, 2026.
As long as it doesn't interfere with Neil's report.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay.
What days of the week is it?
That's a Wednesday and a Thursday. Yeah.
You'll be good, Jen. We'll meet on Tuesdays, so.
Oh, perfect. As soon as they end their day at the high school, they're going to go back to the hotel that they're all staying at, and they're going to get started right away. And what they're doing is kind of debriefing the day. What did they see in these classroom observations? And they're going to start reading the narratives that our team wrote about our school. They're going to take a look through our data, through the surveys. They're going to talk about their debriefing with those stakeholder groups, and then they're going to start writing their own report on those standards that Maggie and Georgia mentioned. They're going to write well into the night, as we know this because we all did it last year. And they're not going to be done writing, so the very next day on Thursday, October 7th, they're going to come back to the high school where they finish their report there. And the reason why they get to do that is so that they can kind of, they can ask clarifying questions, they can ask for more evidence, they can ask for anything that they may not have seen or maybe didn't understand, they can ask us. So they come back to the school to finish that report. After debriefing as a team, they kind of look at what are those areas that our high school should be focusing on. They go through those foundational elements, and they all agree whether we are meeting them or not. And then they debrief with us and the SHS team about their findings of their report and the past 2 days that they saw.
How many people are on a visiting team these days?
5 or 6, yeah.
5 or 6. They really try to get 6.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's 5.
There
Do
was
they stay together throughout the day, or do they divide and conquer?
they divide, yeah. And usually it's a mix of teachers, administrators.
So for those of you who have been around for the big decennial visit, right, this is almost like a pre-assessment. It's a smaller team, it's a smaller amount of time, and the reason why they put this process in place is it gives you an opportunity to adjust if you need to. It gives you the opportunity to focus and decide, okay, over the next couple of years before the larger visit, where do we have to really zero in and work hard in these foundational elements or otherwise? And they'll give us feedback. If they think that we're off, if they see something different as a priority area, they'll have a conversation with us about it. I've been on visits where we've confirmed the priority areas, and we're like, we think that that's small potatoes. Like your higher leverage to get better is actually all of your efforts should be, we think, pointed in this direction. So it truly is a collaborative effort, a peer review. Amanda, I know you just wanted to kind of summarize what the team will do.
Yeah, so the visiting team really has 4 main objectives, and that first one is to make sure that those foundational elements are genuinely and authentically correctly rated. They're going to give us feedback not only on those foundational elements, but on those 5 larger overarching standards as well.
They are going to probably validate what we find during this current year in our self-reflection. They're going to validate what those focus areas should be. And then they are going to remind us of all the wonderful things that we know we're doing that they got to see for themselves and read about as well.
Just to clarify, we were on the visiting team like last year. Like we all were able to go to another.
Yes. So we all went different places.
Yeah, it was really helpful.
It was great. So cool.
We got to see the other side of the process.
Yeah.
And we got to provide feedback to another team and really get the sense of this is an improvement process among peers around common goals and elements that we know make schools better. So it's validating. You also get to steal great ideas and bring back strength of what other teams might be doing in other districts in Connecticut, but all over New England, which is really cool.
Collaborated too with a couple of other principals in the Farmington Valley who have just had their collaborative visit. They've come back they're getting ready for their decennial, so it's been great also to talk to them at their different points in this cycle as we've come together just collegially to say, hey, where are you at? What did you find as your priority area? To see their narrative all put together also gave us kind of a where are we going with this? So yeah, the visit though and being part of these pieces has been really helpful.
So just at the beginning, certainly, so this full year will be, again, a self-reflection year, little mini visit. Next year, we'll make sure that you have the dates on your calendar, and that begins this 10-year process. Are there questions?
I have a few questions. One is on the they who come out, and when you guys are part of the team, who's telling you, okay, you guys are gonna go? Are there employees of NASDAQ and they're with you, directing you, and is it all the schools, all the 1,600 schools that are accredited take turns going as the they?
Yeah, they reach out. So NEASC, as the governing body, reaches out and says, are you since you're a school that's looking for accreditation, do you have any interest in participating? So Sue happens to be like a lead. Is that what they call?
Chair.
The chair. So there's a chair for every school, and within the chair lead. So I was actually standard number 2 in the one that I went to. So I was focusing in on that second standard. So as the chair, we met before and took a look at all of their evidence, their documents, and they lead you, and they're saying, okay, when you're going in, you're looking through lens number for standard number 2. You're going to be following up, and you're going to be responsible for writing about what you saw as it relates to this particular piece. So they kind of tee you up, and they give you all of the information. You study it, and then you go and you participate through the lens of the lead.
You did ask a question though. Is there a member of the NEASC staff? Will they be on our collaborative conference visit? The answer is no. It's a group of peers. They set the structure up, but they don't actually come and partake in the visit.
And all of this is really an accreditation for our high school only, not for Simsbury Public Schools.
That's correct.
And if that is the case, right, and you said there's about 1,600 schools that are accredited? How many public schools are in New England? I'm assuming that's not very many. Is this an accreditation that I'm just being on the jaded part, that we have to do? And so is there a cost that we pay for this accreditation?
You pay for the hotel if people have to stay over.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I was going to be placed in a hotel in Avon for a district, and I'm like, I don't save the money, right? So not all partake in staying over, but you have hotel cost, and you have cost for meals. But overall, it's people that are coming. We're not paying a salary anywhere. You have to pay mileage, but you're not paying a salary or a stipend for people because it's a peer review.
And we don't pay any fee to NASDAQ. This isn't like college fund.
Yes.
NASDAQ. Yeah.
You're still
Right.
focusing on
I'm sorry. I'm back again.
dues of some sort.
There's an annual membership fee.
There is. Okay.
Nominal.
Yeah.
I can get you that.
And is every single in our DIRG in Derg A, B, in all of Connecticut, all our Dergs are all affiliated with this. It's required by who? Connecticut or by federal government?
Well, you need to be in accredited high school or your kids, you can't apply to colleges. And, so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And schools that used to this used to be much more like you passed or you didn't. And when a school didn't pass, it's ugly.
It's like a seal of approval,
Yeah,
right?
they get placed.
So for you,
Okay.
for
They
a
get
school to
placed
be
on probation.
recognized,
You just come off
right?
a 10-year cycle then, is that?
We did.
Yeah, it used to be on the
Okay.
website.
That's what I
Beginning
was-
the next
on the
10 years
website,
cycle.
you were on probation.
Right,
No.
so it
Yeah,
is
that's
saying
just-
that here
Lucky
is,
Maggie. What's that? Yeah.
here's a process that's been in place for decades. There are certain measures of high-performing high schools. You have to have certain foundational pieces in place for you to be recognized, not just among other districts, but colleges and universities. Like it's a seal of quality. That is a process of peer review, and it's really clear, like these are the standards that we expect accredited high schools to achieve, and you have to demonstrate evidence to do that.
Yeah.
So it's think of it as a quality seal.
It's
too.
not like,
Similar
I guess
to-
I'm jaded because I was thinking of it more like the governing body who does the APs and the SATs and stuff. And I know that we have to do that, but at the same time, it's just a little backwards in my mind. But on this, so do you guys ever go up to like Vermont or do other Boston or do you only stay down here in Connecticut?
I did one
I
in
went to-
Massachusetts.
Yeah,
and,
I
Massachusetts.
just chaired a visit in Rhode Island.
And do
That's
all
right.
of
I
the
almost did
United States
Fisher's
have it?
Island,
Do
so that
other
would have been fun, but
But do other people like just the south,
No, all the
east
country,
have
the
its
whole-
own
Yes.
area? Okay.
Yeah.
I forget
It's
how
not the
many,
same.
I forget how
accreditation or
many
whatever.
regional accreditation bodies there are, but I can find that out for you. I should know that.
But
It's
they're
good
not
trivia.
all the same.
They
Like,
have very similar standards to reach.
but a standard in Florida might be different than a standard in New England.
Sure.
And for whatever it's worth, because I've gone out to a few recent conferences, I was surprised a couple of years ago, NEASC has gotten into other markets, so they are doing international schools, and they've started, doing districts as a whole, and they've moved into the private realm as well.
And they do colleges and universities.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate your patience in waiting for us.
Super interesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susan, sorry, can I ask you one question? I guess you seem to have this pretty much under control. Is there anything is there anything you need from us? It seems like you've got this and we've got a meeting in a
6th.
year, but is there anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, really, it would be first of all, to encourage people to complete the family survey.
Right.
That's something that we're really wanting to truly hear from a large, body of our stakeholders, from the family perspective would be one. And two would just be when we get to that October 6th and 7th, if we can get representatives across different groups to be able to come in and speak. I had the opportunity when I went on my visit, we had several people they also wore different hats, right? They were a parent, but they also were a community member. They were on the CTE board, or they shared different. So I think those would be the two things. But no, I feel really prepared.
Do they interview the board anymore?
It depends. I think they can if they're available. If you want to set that up, like I was able to meet with central office too on the one that I went to.
Yeah, there will be.
Yeah,
there will be a
combined
pairing up. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
So that would be really helpful when we get to that point. But no, I feel like we're prepared and honestly really excited. It's helpful to have someone look at what's could be in your blind spot or offer you an opportunity to think differently about something. So I'm excited for that.
Great.
Nice job.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, next up is public audience. None. Our future is the next board meeting. It's actually, I think on the agenda it says the 23rd. It actually is not. We're trying to work through it. We're hoping to have it lined up for the 30th, but just stay tuned. But I think that's what we're going to end up planning.
I I would like just to bring up something in old business. Can you just give us an update of the zoning meeting that was the other night that, did they not discuss the building? Was there a meeting Wednesday night?
Two Farms, this village.
Yeah, do you know whether, I was just curious
I don't know
what,
the outcome.
I didn't get to see the meeting, I'm just curious what the outcome was.
I don't think I can have an update for you.
Okay, I can go back and look at it.
All right, we just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Josh, seconds, thanks. All's in favor? All right, thanks everybody, appreciate it.
For over 40 years, SCM has been the voice of our town.
Bringing us together through local programming,
Education, and live broadcasts.
SEM isn't just about television.
It's about empowering our community.
Ensuring our voices are heard during government meetings. And celebrating milestones.
like our high school graduations.
But today, SEM faces a challenge.
Our funding structure is based on television subscriptions. And it's no secret, people have been cutting the cord.
With a shift to internet-only subscriptions,
SEM receives less revenue.
Even though all our programming is freely available online.
We need your support.
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 Your donation can make a difference.
It will ensure that SCM remains open.
Continues to educate our youth and keeps our community informed.
Thanks to SEM, I've been honing my creative skills, helping me work towards my college degree.
SCM is crucial for keeping our community connected.
SCM isn't just here to broadcast local events. They're actually preserving Simsbury's history.
Join us in preserving Simsbury's voice.
Simsbury's voice.
Together we can ensure that SCM continues to thrive
For generations to come.
Visit our website
Or scan the QR code on your screen to make your donation.
Every contribution
counts.
Thank you for supporting Simsbury Community Media.
where your town
Your schools
And your government come together.